What's up, guys? Jay here with Solo YUGIOH. I got Alex. He's actually going to play this deck today. We got Machina Gadget. So before we play it, I'm going to do a little explanation of the deck. I'm going to go through the profile and just explain some of the cards real quick. Before we get into that, though, like the video. It's free of charge, as always. Helps out a fellow Yu-Gi tuber, aspiring one anyways. And yeah, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. We do everything from Edison to GOAT to advanced format. A lot of different niche stuff. So I like it. I think it's cool. All right, so we got the extra and main deck. Extra deck's pretty small. No side deck for you guys today. I can probably go over that again in the future. All right, so for the main deck, we have 3 Machina Fortress. Let me lay out the Machinas first, then I'll explain what they do. We got 3 Machina Gear Frame, 3 Machina Peacekeeper, and 2 Machina Force. So this can be your Machina engine. It is very standard, to say the least. Nothing much to explain here, but I will because I want to explain it to the new people if you're getting interested in this deck. All right, so pretty simple. Let me go over Gear Frame and Peacekeeper first. Gear Frame has an on-summon effect only when it's normal summoned. That says you can add 1 Machina monster from deck to hand. I believe it's except himself, except Gear Frame. So you can add Force, Peacekeeper, or Fortress. Typically, it's going to be Fortress or Force, depending on what you need. But before I get into that, Peacekeeper, when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, whether that be by card effect or battle, you can add 1 Union monster from deck to hand. So you can add, and that includes himself. So it can be Peacekeeper or Gear Frame. They both have an effect as Union monsters that say that they can equip once per turn to a Machina monster, and if it would be destroyed, destroy that card instead. Also, once per turn they can unequip, so they can be used as attack material, attacking monsters, I should say. All right, so what I said about Gear Frame, being able to add what it needs based on what you have. If you have Force, you can just add Fortress. If you have Fortress, you can add Force. Fortress has the great effect that says you can discard monsters that equal level 8 or higher, machine monsters, to the graveyard, and then special summon it from either your hand or graveyard. So if you have Force, you can do it from your hand. That plays around cards like DD Crow. But also, if you only have 1 other monster, you can do it self as cost and then summon it from the graveyard, which is cool. All right, guys, that's the Machina engine. Let's get into the gadgets really quickly. Nothing much to explain here. Red Gadget, Green Gadget, and Yellow Gadget, and 2 Cyber Dragon. Not part of the Gadget engine, but we'll just put them there. Cyber Dragon is actually one of your best cards in your deck for one of your inherent weaknesses. This deck hard loses to Ally Justice Catastor. But the fact that Catastor is a machine, you can Cyber Dragon and fusion summon away their Catastor. That's one of your only outs in the whole deck, aside from your spells and traps. So Catastor is a detriment to this deck. The gadgets, you really want them just for their fact that they're a machine. They recur advantage. 2 is fine. You don't want to play 3 of each of this card. That's just way too much. You do play Pot of Avarice, so you can recycle them if needed, but yeah, 2 is fine. We want to keep space for non-engine spells and traps. All right, so that's a very standard lineup. I think it's very solid. We're playing the Solidarity build. If you'd like to play Ultimate Offering, I do not recommend playing 2. It's just way too much. I would play 2 Solidarity and 1 Ultimate Offering if you want to do that. But Solidarity, hell of a card, stacks. If you control only 1 original type in your graveyard, like Machine, since we play only machines, all monsters of that type will gain 800 attack. Limit or removal, it is limited to 1. You cannot play more than that. It's your OTK card. Doubles the attack of all machines on the field, and then all of them are destroyed during end phase. That don't matter if you're doubling 5,000 and 10,000 and just attacking directly. Your 1 Pot of Avarice. This deck gets a lot of cards in the graveyard. Get a little advantage, recycle your gadgets, pretty good. Your 2 Book of Moons, that's your out to absolute 0. Not to Catastor, I don't believe. I think Catastor's effect still goes through, so, but it's just really good in general. 2 Smashing Ground, that's going to be some in-deck outs to Catastor and any other kind of aggro stuff. Maybe a Christia, whatever. But this deck's a really aggro deck. You don't need too much back row. We do play some. But a lot of it's like back row that can also be seen as offensive back row rather than just defensive. For our back row hate, we have MST, Heavy Storm, and Trunade. You really want to clear the field, make an opening to just go in with your plays and do what you got to do. And that's it for these spells. Lastly, we have the traps. So we have the one Mirror Force, the one Torrential, the one Solemn, the one Dust Shoot, and the one Call of the Haunted. This is our one-ofs that are limited to one. The only real defensive ones here that you have is Torrential and Mirror Force. Obviously the best two in the format. We can't play Icarus Attack, so I'm not going to count that. Solemn Judgment, Trap Dust Shoot, Call of the Haunted, just really good for getting your plays going and continuing them to be going. Bottomless Trap Hole, it's an out to Catastor, of course. And then also just very good. You know, banish cards in Edison format is a premier thing, more so than any other format in my opinion. Bottomless Trap Hole is so good. Semi-limited, so you can't play more than that. Like I said, all the cards are limited to one. And then for something that flexes as offensive and defensive, is also out for Catastor, etc. We play 2 Compulsory Evacuation Device. It's really good in this deck because of how aggro we are. Like I said, rather than playing ID Prison, for example, you want something that can be offensive as well. You can pop their face up to their hand, or their face down cards to their hand, like a Raiko or whatever. You really just want to get things going. You want to attack for game. So, yep, that's it for the main deck, guys. And here's for the extra deck. It's a 15-card extra deck. There's a lot of cards. I'm just playing. There's only 2. 2 Cyber Dragon, or sorry, Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Basically, it allows you to fusion summon from anything on the field that's a machine, as long as you control Cyber Dragon. So, if you're playing the machine mirror match, that's really good because you can suck up older machines. And then if you are playing against Catastor, like I said, this is your out for Catastor. The reason why we hard lose to Catastor is the fact that we can't attack over it, and Machina Fortress's effects do not play into it because it's by card effect, not by battle, that it pops your fortress. Because when fortress is destroyed by battle, it pops a card they control. It's not destroyed by battle, it's destroyed by card effect when Catastor attacks it. So, and then yeah, it doesn't target, so you're just shit out of luck. All right, guys, that's it for the extra deck. One last thing to mention, I just had on tip of my tongue. Oh, okay. You will play the full 15-card extra deck if you're playing Brain Control or Mind Control. I think Brain Control is the better option if you're going to play the of course, because it gets to attack and do everything. But we have 0 ways of taking our opponent's monsters. So, in theory, you'd probably want to play the full 15 or playing Brain Control, but this is just fine, and I don't think Brain Control really gives us much value. Alright guys, that's it for the Machina Gadget deck profile. If you want to see more of this deck, let us know. We'll keep updating it. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.